A leaf fell into the water, changing the taste of it, and tea was born. Tea after the experience of fire and water, life and death matters. Tea is a kind of kung fu. Leaves from the same tea plant can be concocted to create ever-changing fragrances. China is known as the hometown of tea and the country where tea culture first emerged in the world. The spread of tea has reached a climax in the last 100 years also. From Asia to Africa, tea has found a home in all suitable lands. Tea is inclusive. In the hands of people from different countries, races, and cultures, tea presents endless possibilities, whether at home or far away. The country that drinks the most tea per capita in the world is not China, not India, but the UK. However, the British did not originally have tea. For tea, they started the most dangerous voyage and waged the most brutal wars. They mastered the first-class tea blending technology and created the afternoon tea culture that sweeps the world. It only took less than 200 years for England to realize tea and fall madly in love with it all over the country. It was Princess of Portugal, Catherine of Braganza, who, in 1662, in a political marriage, married Charles II, King of England, introduced the value of tea to British people. Her favorite hobby is drinking tea, so she brought a box of tea to England. She brought fashion. British people began to drink tea like her, so tea became popular in Britain. Many literary works mention Catherine of Braganza, and they praise her as the first tea queen in Britain. In the early 1600s, when green tea was first brought to Europe by the Dutch, it was widely thought to taste more like medicine than drink. Originally, tea appeared in drugstores in Europe, and because of its high price, it was sold in sachets. Europeans see green tea as a cure oriental herb. The English aristocracy used to have two main meals in the morning and evening, and the afternoon between them is long and hungry. The Duchess of Bedford came up with a solution: a few slices of bread, cream, jam, and a pot of Chinese tea to invite friends to share. Afternoon tea became a fashion in aristocratic social circles and quickly spread to the common people. English afternoon tea begins at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The hostess chooses the best room in the house and treats guests with the most precious tea and the most elegant tea sites. Tea is poured first and milk is added. Dim sum is exquisite and packed in a 3-layer tray. When eating from the bottom up, the taste from salty to sweet, from light to thick. From the 18th century, the main character of English afternoon tea changed from green tea to black tea. Black tea, which resembles red wine in its color, is inclusive, so can be blended with milk, sugar, and even various spices, making it more palatable to Europeans. In the first half of the 18th century, Samuel Johnson, the great British writer, made friends with literature and tea. which made tea culture outrage at that time and reached a peak in British tea. Around the 1750s, when Britain was undergoing the Industrial Revolution, tea made with boiling water killed bacteria and improved workers' health. Tea in the era of the Industrial Revolution integrated into the life of ordinary British people. After time, also because of tea became elegant and meaningful. From the 18th century, tea was no longer just a drink, but also a work of art, a literary history, a cultural history, and a crucial part of English literature. In poetry, novel, and other genres, we can see tea and experience the distinctive tea culture of Britain. In the rich tea culture, English literature has been added some charm and subtlety. When it came to in the 18th century, the people who had an impact on English tea culture, Samuel Johnson, the great writer at that time, must be mentioned. In 18th century England, Samuel Johnson was known for his love of tea. He claims that tea for pleasure at dusk, tea for comfort at night, and tea to welcome the new day in the morning. He considers tea the lubricant of thought and conversation. It is said that his hot kettle was never cold, and he drank at least 20 to 40 cups of tea one day. In addition, he and famous painter Reynolds founded the Johnson's Club in 1763, which became popular as a tea party. It was a place where celebrities, literary figures, and poets met to drink and write books, with the likes of Edmund Burke among the original members. Besides Samuel Johnson, another famous English poet, Alexander Pope, also spoke highly of tea. In his 1711 lyric verse, The Abuse of the Four Looks, he called tea boohy and extolled the beauty of tea making. The silver lamp on the broad altar shines, and the heat in Chinese porcelain is surging. The red flame is burning brilliantly. It is suddenly full of elegant fragrance, and the silver teapot pours out fiery soup. This wonderful tea party is really busy. From this poem, we can feel that drinking tea is not only a way of life, but also a unique artistic conception and feeling. Pope's this lyric verse is an excellent work to spread Chinese tea culture. In terms of poetry, by a British poet named Tate, published in 1700, a poem upon tea is also one of the representative works reflecting the British tea culture at that time. As Britain Poet Laureate, named Tate, a poem upon tea is concise and easy to understand, lively and full of fun, and also adapted to the popular trend of tea at that time. In this poem, tea is a drink of health and soul. Virtuous and elegant people happily drink it. It is like delightful nectar, and also like a dose of very elixir in ancient Greek legend. Speaking of ancient Greek legends, there is a story in the Bible where the gods on Mount Olympus called over, "Shall we drink tea or wine?" Apollo, the sun god, said that when he tasted the aromatic tea for the first time in heaven, he was endowed with an immortal power, and that the draught was better than nectar or incense. In the mind of Minerva, the goddess of wisdom, when the poet is short of inspiration, when the hero is no longer struggling, only the tea can stir the poet's passion, and it is tea's longevity that fuels the hero's fire. Hebe, the goddess of youth, also recommends tea as an alternative to more intoxicating alcohol. In addition to a poem upon tea by the English poet Peter Anthony Moult, a poem in praise of tea, composed and completed in 1712, is also a representative work reflecting the English tea culture in the 18th century. A poem in praise of tea is a long prose poem. It describes on Mount Olympus the debate between the gods of worldwide tea or wine. poem depicts scene of impassioned praise for the beauty of tea. In this poem, Moto likens tea to drink of life, music's nectar, and virgin's love, showing his love and admiration for tea. Besides, tea in the poem is also portrayed as tea, heaven's delight, and nature's truest wealth, that pleasing physic and sure pleasure of health. From the guarantee of the health, it can be seen that, in the eyes of the British, Chinese tea is a kind of drink beneficial to human health. Hail, drink of life! How justly should our lyres resound the praises which their power inspires. Their charms alone can equal souls infuse. Be thou my theme, my nectar, and my muse. Tea, heaven's delight, and nature's truest wealth, that blazing physic and sure plight of health. The statesman's consoler, the virgin's love, the muse's nectar, and the drink of Jove. Immortals, here set Jove and cease to jar. Tea must succeed to wine as peace to war. No better grape let men to be set at odds, but sharing tea, the nectar of the gods. In this excerpt of a poem in praise of tea, we can feel more truly the poet's praise and love for tea. In addition to poetry, in the 18th century English novels, the image of tea also often appears. Jane Austen, as a woman's life writer, loved tea very much. Tea frequently appears in her novels. Her works vividly portray tea party and tea drinking scene, revealing her profound understanding of tea and its culture, which contains in the 18th century British society the tea drinking customs and tea culture characteristics. In Jane Austen's 1797 novel, Pride and Prejudice, a formal tea party follows every main character's dinner. Jane Austen had tea parties throughout the whole work, and tea parties of various sizes become another hidden clue in the novel. It is these tea parties that drive the plot of the novel. By the time tea was served, the unbearable suffering is finally over. Mr. Bennet led his guest back to the living room. After tea, Mr. Bennet happily reads something to the ladies. All the ladies and wives are around the table. Mr. Bennet is making tea for them, and Elizabeth is pouring coffee when the tea side has been put away. It is inconceivable that the Pompeii family of Darcy uses a simple coke pot to boil water for making tea on the bottom of the stove, while using a large silver teapot with rich and gorgeous decoration to boil water is more commensurable with his social wealth. As can be seen from this expert, the English in the 18th century attached great importance to tea and tea culture. Tea is an important social tool in English noble society. There are strict rules about when the host should drink tea and what clothes to wear with it. At the tea party, beautiful music is usually played, men wear tules and women wear dresses, which also shows the British respect for the tea party and love for tea. At the same time, the arrangement of the tea table can also show the difference of social class status in Britain at that time, and reflects the economic status of British families. In addition to the above excerpts, there are also many other descriptions of various tea parties in the novel. Through these descriptions, readers can find that drinking tea has become a part of British culture and permeated into the daily life of British people. Through reading this novel, we can see the status of tea in British society and its influence on British people's life. After the introduction of Chinese tea, Britain gradually formed the traditional tea culture with its local characteristics and built a unique tea culture system which contains rich emotional connotation. At the same time, tea culture has gradually developed into a spiritual element closely related to the people, and expanded the types and contents of British literary works and become an important part of British literature. Through the analysis of Chinese tea in English literature in the 18th century, we can have a relatively comprehensive understanding of the social background and environment of Britain at that time, and discover the influence of Chinese tea on British culture, people's life, and national identity at that time.